All right, here goes. I have been thinking about doing a podcast for a while now, for like more than a year. But it was always starting. It was always trying to get a good spot to start in. I bought a fancy microphone. Was it Blue Yeti? I got the whole sound thing. I even bought a Mac computer, literally just for that. And I just always waited for the right thing to do and whether or not I'm going to do it by myself or I'm going to do it with other people. I never really understood what I was actually going to do. And it always caused me to kind of wait and stop and all right, let's do this, let's try to figure something out before I got there, and let me talk to a couple of my techie friends and see what they think and see what they say, and other people who start podcasts and how they do it and where I should start, and just basically trying to start at the best possible way that I could. And I never start because of it. So there's no point in trying to get to the best possible part if you're just gonna hold it off and hold it off and hold it off. So I decided to just start, and here's my first one, and I'm doing it on my phone, and it's probably gonna suck. And I bought my microphone, and I bought things, and I haven't used it yet. And I'm doing this on a microphone. This is gonna be my first podcast, and hopefully people like it. It might suck, but I mean, it is what it is. So there's a bunch of things that I want to do in life. There's I don't know if you know me personally or you're meeting me through this, which is weird. Um, but yet my main two things currently, at least, are skydiving and fighting. So I started, I did my first tandem 5 years ago, in 2015. I was actually very scared to do it. It's funny. I didn't want it, I wanted to do it, but I never made the conscious effort myself to go ahead and start it. And then it was my birthday or Christmas, one of them. My sister brought me a Groupon for skydiving, and I kind of had to at that point. And I did it, and I loved it. It was amazing. I did 7 tandems. So I was literally just Groupon whoring it up, and I was just like searching it up, and I didn't pay for a tandem over $200 until recently. So I did it, and I've also been like a skydiving Mormon. I've been trying to get everyone I know to go skydiving, and because it's an amazing thing. So if you haven't done it, do it. So I got my god brother to go skydiving, and it was in November. It was around his birthday, but November, it's so cold. But we did it, and the guy that I was with, he said, "Have you jumped before?" And I said, "Yeah, I did it like this would be my like seventh time or sixth time or something along that line." And he goes, "What are you waiting for?" And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Get your license." And I'm like, "You know what? Fine." And I set it up. I do like goals. I'll get into. You're gonna be annoyed with my goals. So I set it up for my goals for this year to get my license. Fun jumper. That's what I called it, because I went somewhere and I seen this dude, and he had a skull hoodie, right? He had a skull hoodie, and on the side it was like a side profile of a skull, and inside it had a parachute, which was so cool. And I was like, "That's cool. How do you get that?" And the lady at the front desk goes, "He's a fun jumper. He makes his own clothing or apparel, whatever." And I'm like, "Fun jumper." And I asked her about it, and she told me what it was. And once you get your skydiving license, your A license, or A license, then you can do fun jumps. It's not tandem. You don't have to go with anybody. It's not $220. It's $27. If you have your own gear rental, you pay more in gear rental than you do for actually jumping at that point. So I set it up for my goals, and I wanted to start, as soon as possible. And it's 2020, so COVID and all that good stuff is like a thing. I worked a lot. I work on Broadway. I work at the St. James Theater. Well, technically I work for Drew Jamson, the office, but I work closely to the St. James Theater. Sort of a demanding job in terms of time, at least. I work pretty much Wednesday to Sunday or Tuesday to Sunday. And so I wouldn't have much time to go skydiving and train. So luckily, something happened, with the whole pandemic thing, which sucks. Don't get me wrong, it sucks, but there's opportunities everywhere. And the pandemic allowed me to have a load of time. I have a lot of time, and I decided to go again. Actually, I didn't just decide to go get a license. Like I wanted to do it, and the place that I called, they weren't doing students yet because of COVID. And then I went to do a tandem somewhere else, and they said, we have, it's like, go get your license. And I was like, but you guys are not available. It's like, yes, we are. So I dived. I didn't mean to use that, but I dived into the world of skydiving, and did my ground school. I believe I had my first jump as a student in July, July or June, something along those lines. And I got my full license in 3 weeks. I did it with 29 jumps, and the test held me back. Not even the jumps, the test held me back. And it's great. Like I love it. There's very few things in my life that I enjoy more than actually skydiving itself, and it's something that I want to do and want to pursue more in my life. It's far. I live in the Bronx, so, and the place that I go to is called Skydive the Ranch, and it is about an hour and 40 minutes away from me, something along those lines. There's ones that are like an hour and 20, but like it's not that big of a deal. So it's far, and it's pretty expensive. You may jump 4 times in a day, 4 or 5 times, or more. I mean, the most I've ever jumped was 4 times in a day. And just jumps is $108 if you're gonna do 4 jumps. And then also gear rental, which is also $120. So for 4 jumps, you're paying like $249, $248. And that's assuming that you pack for yourself. Packing sucks. I don't like packing. I need to get better at it. I'm not extremely confident at packing my own parachute. I can do it if I needed to. Like if I go to a different place and they're like, no packing, just you, I would do it. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it, and especially packing on the student canopies sucks. But it's great. It's skydiving as a sport is great, and I want to pursue that more. It's hard because you don't know where the money is going to come from. Like you can be a packer, but I mean, I don't like packing, so being a packer is not really much of a entry for me into making money in the sport. You can go pro, and I have 44 jumps currently, so I'm not going pro anytime soon. I don't really know much else. I guess you can work actually at a skydiving facility or a drop zone, and do other stuff like office work or stuff like that. I'm not really too sure yet. I haven't jumped into that yet, but that's something that I would love to make money doing. And fighting in between skydiving and fighting, that's pretty. I'm happy. I'm happy if I can just skydive and fight. I don't need anything else. You know, I was always struggling because I wanted to do a bunch of things and I want to try this and try that, which I'm still doing. But skydiving and fighting, I'm happy with. If I can just cut up my days with just those two things, I'm satisfied. Currently, I've been in the sport of martial arts for about 7 years. I started at Ultimate Taekwondo with Ruben. And it was actually my friend who brought me. He said, hey, there's this MMA gym by my house. Let's give it a try. And I ended up doing that. And it was cool. And then very shortly after I started martial arts, I got jumped and robbed from my skateboard. So that like pushed me like much faster into the actual sport of martial arts because I want to be able to defend myself. I was sort of defenseless. I didn't even know what to do when faced with 3 people, you know, like I had no idea. Now I smoke those guys, but I didn't know back then. And yeah, so I started with Ruben. I was training with him for, I want to say like 4 years, 4 or 5 years, consistently. It's Ultimate Taekwondo in the Bronx in Morris Park. And I was doing Taekwondo Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I was doing MMA Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So it's great. There's not a lot of students, so it's a very one-on-one. So you get to see your flaws better. You get to see what you're doing wrong and work on them. Back when I was going, there was more people, but I mean, with this whole pandemic thing, it's gonna shoot down a little bit. It was good though. It was good. I loved it, and I trained almost every day. Trained like 5 6 times a week. And then I started working on Broadway, and the timing doesn't work out because I was training at 7 o'clock, 6 or 7 o'clock p.m. every day, and that's the time that I was working at the theater. So I needed to change. I needed to find somewhere with morning classes. I went to Tiger Showman on 23rd Street, training with Lyman Good, and it was great. It was good. It was a little expensive. I wasn't really making a lot of money yet, so it was a little expensive. It was good though. They don't have a belt system, which is kind of weird. Well, they do, but they don't have a belt system for jiu-jitsu. Like, they have grappling and they have kickboxing, and you get a belt for like both. It's just Tiger Showman belt, so it's kind of odd. And I wanted a blue belt. I wanted a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I wanted to get a blue belt. Like, I've been a white belt for like a very long time. So I wanted to further my jiu-jitsu career, and even though I didn't really want to get into it, I still wanted to make that pathway, you know? So I was training there, and I wanted to fight, but they weren't really cool with me fighting yet. I did that for about 2 years. I was kind of on and off. It it wasn't the best environment for me. It's good. It's good. Like, this training is solid. They know what they're talking about. There's nothing wrong with them specifically. It's just how I matched with them wasn't the best. It wasn't the most amazing, and that's okay. People are gonna have different ways of communicating, and it always happens. You feel more comfortable one way, getting taught one way versus another way, and that's just how it is. That's how it's going to be for everybody. So I would recommend, if you actually want to get into MMA, try a bunch of different gyms. Go for like a month. If they try to lock you into a contract, don't do it. No contracts. Some long-term contract, it's not the way to go. So I did that for a while, and then I found Renzo Gracie. I actually forgot how I got into it, and maybe I'll remember some other time, but I started Renzo Gracie in 2018. I was doing jiu-jitsu mostly, and I was being taught under Fabio, and I was doing that, and then I got into Muay Thai as well. I was doing jiu-jitsu way more. I was doing jiu-jitsu Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then Muay Thai Tuesday and Thursday. And it was good. I loved it. And since I was learning grappling and not jiu-jitsu, I lacked fundamentals. I still have a really weird game, but I lacked fundamentals. So when I actually got into Renzo Gracie, it was just, I had to take the white belt class because I was a white belt. And I loved it because I could work on the fundamentals. I was skilled, but the fundamentals were what was being taught. And I got my blue belt in 2019, I believe. I forget. I have the date written down somewhere, but so I got my blue belt, and then once I got my blue belt, I don't know, it was like a switch for me, and I went from going to jiu-jitsu more to Muay Thai more, and I fell in love with Muay Thai, and Muay Thai is great, and it's tough. Muay Thai is tough. Again, I've been doing martial arts, and I also do other physical activities, but I've been doing martial arts for 7 years now, and Muay Thai is definitely the most demanding one that I've ever experienced. I remember going in one time, and we were doing the cool downs. We were doing like the end workouts, right? And I remember thinking, can my abs break? That was a thought in my mind. I was looking up at the ceiling at the light, and I'm like, I hope my ab doesn't rip. I don't know why I thought about just having like a rip, like straight down, just like going straight through. And I'm like, that's gonna look horrible. I shouldn't worry about looks, but that's gonna look horrible. And yeah, I got into Muay Thai more, and I became an intermediate student. I wanted to fight under them. I wanted to go in, and the coach there was like, no. Absolutely not. We got to see you fight more. We got to see you train more, and which is fair. So I just started training and just doing that. I'm 25, so the clock is sort of ticking on that one. But I'm hopefully gonna fight this year, and if not, early next year. I would like to do that. I I work as a doorman, sort of. I I don't know if I work as a doorman really, because pandemic. So my job title, when if I go back, is doorman or building operations assistant, and it's good. I pretty much kind of sit down for a while, like the first half of my day, and then the second half of my day, I deal with the theater, which is fun for me. I definitely do enjoy hanging out with the theater and dealing with the patrons and dealing with the actors themselves and the stagehands and everybody else involved. Really nice people. So I enjoy that. I enjoy entertaining people. And it, again, it's with timing, it doesn't give me a lot of time for myself. I do have like 2 days in the morning, but I suck at waking up in the mornings. So I want to do something else. I enjoy my job. The funnest part of my job is stage door. And there's probably going to be one or two people here that actually recognize me from the stage door. Or maybe if I get famous and, you'll know who I am from stage dooring. I enjoyed it. I started stage dooring during Frozen. And it was a blast. Like I feel like I'm very good with kids because kids are fucking honest, and I appreciate that. So I just felt good with the job that I had. The last 45 minutes of my day was the best. I got to deal with people who are already hype, and I got to make sure that the end of their day went as good as it could possibly go, at least from my power of it. And I enjoyed it. I like doing it. It's good money. I'm making good money. Like I can live on that. I can, if I wanted to, for the rest of my life, I don't need to get another job. I don't need to move up. I can buy a house. I can buy a car, all that extra stuff, and I'll be fine. I really don't. I'm making a living wage, and it's good. It's good, but it's also scary because I don't want to settle. I don't want to just stay in the same spot and say this job is good enough. I'm making enough money. I'm happy enough. Like I want to be more happy. I want to be as happy as I can be. That's why I want to get into skydiving and fighting. Because if I could do those two things and make money and make a living from those two things, I would be happy. And it's funny. So last year I tried scuba diving. It was in a pool, but I wanted to get my feet wet, I guess you would say. I don't know. So I tried skydiving, and something that I got back from that experience, that whole experience, wasn't actually about scuba diving itself, but the person who taught me. I forget his name, but he works at Pan Aqua on 43rd and 9th. There's a scuba diving place in Midtown, and if you look it up, you'll find it. Anyway, I had a conversation with the guy, and he talked about his life, and he was just a very happy guy, like very, very happy. And he teaches scuba diving, and teaching scuba diving gives him enough money to go scuba diving by himself whenever he wants. And then he has his wife and kids, and it gives him, he's settled there. Like he can scuba dive whenever he wants, and his job is doing what he loves, which is the best, right? Like, and he was just so happy. And I follow a lot of people. I follow Gary V, with business. I mean, a lot of people have business, but Gary V with business and just getting off your ass. David Metzler, I hope I said his name right, but just positivity and also business. I'm really down for him because it's like, he's just a really good guy, and he's also trying to spread positivity in the world, which is admirable, at least for me. David Goggins, get after it. And he's just, a runner, and he's been in the SEALs, and he just does a lot of strenuous activities, things that are very demanding of your mind and your body. So I like him amongst other people. Joe Rogan's probably my biggest person that I've paid attention to and follow, and just strive to be like him. In a way, I don't want to do everything he does, but a person like him. So all those people are a couple of my idols, and one of my idols is that guy from the Aqua Place. And just because of how happy he was, I don't know how much money he made. If I had to guess, I'd probably say I'd make more money. I'm not sure. I don't want to just throw that anywhere, but he was just happy. And if I could give up, 10,000, 15, 20,000 of my income in order to be happy every day when I go to work, 50 hours a week, then I'll do that. If I'm having fun at my job, I'm enjoying my job, then I don't need anything else. As long as I'm happy, that's what matters. And he was just so happy, and I kept that, and I wanted to do something that made me happy. And there's a lot of different things that I enjoy, but it's hard to know what actually is going to make me the money, because there's a lot of different opportunities everywhere. So if you're saying, oh, I don't know what to do, you're lying. You're lying to yourself. There's always things to do. Stop watching Netflix, stop playing video games, or if you play video games, stream it or something. There's ways to make money. Go do something. You know what you're not supposed to be doing, you know what you're supposed to be doing, and you're just choosing one thing. So fighting is something that I would like to do. I would want to make money pro fighting. That would be my first way to make money. But there are other ways to make money with fighting. Commentating, because I talk a lot, so I figured commentating might be something that was cool. And so ECF, the fighting organization that I fought for, I fought for them twice. I fought for them at 170 and 155. And I spoke to Christian, and Christian told me, and I'm going to hold you to this if you listen to this, Christian, if I become a champion in your organization, I'll be able to commentate. Because I asked him about it, and that's kind of what he gave me. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to jump in there and start somewhat of a career for MMA through that, and maybe make some money while I'm trying to go more into pro fighting. And yeah, so I'm a blue belt now. I do Muay Thai, and I'm also trying to do other stuff. I want to get into boxing a little bit. My gym is not open yet, but it should be open in very soon. I don't want to say exact date. I really don't know. Very soon. And since my job is now open, I will be able to train much more. I will be able to train as, 3 times a day, 5-6 days a week, which is amazing because I haven't been able to do that in a very long time. And I'm definitely excited about it. So we'll see what happens. I would like to not have to go back to my job. Not that it's the worst thing in the world, because I do enjoy my job and I enjoy the people at my job, but I do want to do something else. I want to live a life that I'm happy with. And that's a very hard thing to do. And I see people who are older than me and people around me, and they kind of settled, they had kids, or they just found a job that was just okay or just good enough. And that's what they do. And they live for the weekends, Friday night. Yeah, like, I don't want to think like that. I don't want to see Friday night as my best day. I want to be able to go to work and maybe have my best day at work on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I don't want to have to look forward towards the weekend. I'm not much of a party person. I am fun at parties, but I'm not a huge party person. I don't like going out drinking all the time. It's not what's fun for me. Like, let's go skydive. Let's go train. Let's go run. Let's do something physical, something fun. I don't know. Even movies. I've been learning Portuguese. Está aprendendo português. I'm not great at it by any means, but I'm learning. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna get into the goals right now. I'm gonna set you up, and so you know what I'm talking about when I mention my goals. In 2015, I was working at Key Food on Bruckner Boulevard, and I did not like my boss, my manager. He's kind of a jerk. I'm not mad at you if you're watching this. I'm not mad at you, but I didn't like the job anymore, and I quit. And I was doing nothing for a while. I was doing nothing for a good portion of a year, maybe 5 months of just playing handball or wall ball for people who play the other handball, and smoking weed. So it wasn't a great life. And my sister said, "Oh, what are you doing with your life?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, nothing really." So I decided to make myself a set of yearly resolutions, and I did 20 goals for myself, and I set my goals up in monthly goals to try to achieve my yearly goals. And I did that starting in 2015, and so on in 2016 and in 2017, and what was it, 20? I'm obviously still doing it now, but I added one person to it, my girlfriend at the time, and she was the only one doing my goals with me. And then the year after that, we added three more people to the goals, and it became sort of a competition. And this year we're up to 9 people, and I have more people asking for next year. So I bought a belt, like a little fake WWE belt. And if you win the month, you get your belt. You hold the belt for the month, and if you win the year, then you keep the belt for the year. And there's just a whole bunch of things. Yearly goals with a Z, if you want to search it up on Instagram. And so my goals. All right, I have skydiving, which is or fun jumper, which is what I actually got done because of COVID. I have dunk. I wanted to dunk because I wanted to be able to just last with my nephew, because my nephew likes to play basketball, and I wanted to just be able to, like, if we decide to go to a park or something, I want to be able to just be on the team and not be a detriment to the team. I'm okay at basketball, but I just want to be able to do that for him. So that was something that I've actually planned like last year, but I didn't accomplish. So I tried this year again. So we'll see. Running, I did a 5K a couple of years ago, and that was like a big thing for me. I was like, I want to do a race. I want to actually go in and run, and it was a 5K, and I did okay. My time was like 27 or 28, something like that. And then I realized I could do more. So my next year's goal was a 10K. And then from 10K, I wanted to really challenge myself. And I did a triathlon last year, which was the hardest thing of my life. And this year's a marathon. So that's one of my goals for this year, actually doing an entire marathon. Trying to think off the bat. I wanted to do a mocap or motion capture, because I feel like I have like weird movements, like I could like move like an animal. So I wanted to add that in. I thought it'd be cool to be in a video game, something like that, video game or movie. I thought that would be cool. So that's something that I would definitely want to try. I don't know if one of my goals was to win a fight a couple of years ago, but I won a fight. So now the next step is finish a fight. One of my goals was to finish a fight, even though I don't know I'm gonna be able to fight this year because of the pandemic. So we'll see about that. Trying to think of my like regular goals for the year. So running, motion capture, skydiving, fighting. There's other stuff. I can't think of it right now, but I will get to it. So for this month, I wanted to run 120 miles. I want to do 300 of the dunk workouts. I wanted to get rid of this note because I have a note which I've needed to do for a while now. Podcast, which is this. So here we are. And there's just a lot of things that I want to do, and I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on getting towards it. I'm actually here today because I was going to train jiu-jitsu at Igor Gracie. Awesome dude, by the way. And I've been using my parents' car. Both of my parents have cars. I've been using my parents' car back and forth to go to skydiving, which is a long way. And my dad just said no about using a car. So I feel like I'm sort of forced to sort of become a man in a certain sense and do my own thing and figure out my own thing. And I'm here today, so I figure I have a day of no skydiving and no training, so I have to make it as good and productive as I can. And there's going to be a lot of things coming. I try to be as positive as I can. I try to help others, and I try to get people where they want to be. Yearly goals is something that I spend a lot of time on myself. There's 8 other people, and I'm focused on them. I try to get their goals done. Every time I scroll over something that I find for them that may help them, I try to use that. And I want to use it as a pool. So, for example, someone wants to fix their outfits and fix their their wardrobe, and I have another person who wants to be a fashion designer. So get those two people together and things of that sort, creating things that help people to work and to get what they want to do. And the more people, the more you have to pull from, the more opportunities you have between everybody. So I spend a lot of time on that personally. I'm making no money from it, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy helping people, and I like to see people accomplish the things that they like to do in life. And I also get to learn from how other people are and how they work themselves and what motivates them, and just different things about stuff that I don't know a thing about, that I may get to learn because I'm trying to help some other person accomplish that goal. So there's a lot of things that I'm doing right now. And there's a lot of things that I'm going to do in the future. And I just enjoy trying new things. But money is obviously a problem currently. I'm getting unemployment. By the way, unemployment. Oh my God. Like I said, I make a decent living. I make a pretty good living. And on unemployment, I'm making just about $300 more than I am in my regular job. And that is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it and I like it. I like just getting money for doing nothing. But also, it is getting money for doing nothing. So, like, I don't feel like that's fair to an extent. I get it. I can't work. But I'm making a lot of money and I don't really spend much. So I'm kind of just, let me rephrase that. I didn't spend much until skydiving, because skydiving is definitely an expensive sport. So just doing that, and I don't know when this is going to run out, and I want to start some new things. Hopefully, maybe one day I'll make some money with the podcast, maybe make some money with skydiving or fighting or whatever. Just trying to be happy. And if you're watching this, I appreciated you staying with me for 32 minutes. And hopefully I can help you make your life better. And you watching can help me make my life better. And stay tuned for the next one.